What if your unhappiness comes from trying to please everyone but yourself? We all do it, say yes when we want to say no, hide our true selves to fit in. But what if the key to freedom is letting people dislike you? The answer lies inside the courage to be disliked, and we're about to shortcut right to it. The book says our unhappiness isn't fate but a choice we make. But how is that possible when life hits us with things we can't control, like layoffs or breakups?
Exactly. Unhappiness isn't the event itself, it's the meaning we give it. A layoff can be a crisis or a chance to chase a dream you put off. We choose to stay stuck in victim mode because it's safe.
But in the real world, people get stuck in trauma. How do you tell someone who's been abused that their pain is a choice? That feels cruel.
I'm not saying the abuse wasn't real, its impact is. But the choice is in whether you let it define your future. Try the separation of circles tool. Draw 2 circles, one for what you can control, your actions, thoughts, and one for what you can't, others' behavior, past events. Focus only on the first. It's not about forgetting, it's about taking back power.
You talk about separating tasks, other people's feelings vs. ours. But in America, we're taught to be team players. How do we say no without feeling guilty?
Guilt comes from confusing your task with others. When you say no to a request, you're not rejecting the person, you're honoring your own limits. Their anger or disappointment, that's their task, not yours. We tie our worth to others' approval, but true freedom is letting go of that.
But how do we actually practice this? When your boss asks you to take on extra work and you're already burnt out, what do you say without sounding selfish?
Use the I statement plus boundary framework. I appreciate you trusting me with this validation, but my current workload means I can't give it the attention it deserves. Fact. Could we reprioritize or delegate? Solutions kind but firm. The key is to separate your intent, helping, from the outcome, their reaction. Over time, this builds respect for yourself and from others.
You say happiness is in the here and now, not past regrets or future worries. But in a world obsessed with side hustles and career climbs, how do we stop chasing more and enjoy now?
The tyranny of the future keeps us stuck. We think, when I get that promotion, then I'll be happy. But happiness isn't a destination, it's a way of living. Every moment you spend longing for later is a moment you miss now.
That sounds nice, but for someone drowning in student loans, how do you enjoy now when every dollar goes to debt? It feels like a luxury.
Start with the 10-minute present moment practice. Every day, pick one small activity: drinking coffee, walking the dog, and do it mindfully. Notice the taste, the breeze, the sound of your feet. It's not about ignoring debt, it's about giving your brain a break from constant worry. Over time, this trains your mind to find joy in small things, even when life is hard. Debt is a fact, but it doesn't have to steal your entire present.
The title is The Courage to be Disliked, but America loves popularity. Why would anyone want to be disliked?
Being disliked isn't a goal, it's a byproduct of being true to yourself. When you stop people-pleasing, you'll lose some relationships, but the ones you keep will be real. Popularity is fleeting. Authenticity is forever. We fear rejection because we think it means we're unlovable. But the truth, the right people will love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be.
But what if the people you lose are family? My mom says I'm changing since I started setting boundaries, and it hurts. How do you handle that pain?
Grief is normal when relationships shift, but it's also a sign of growth. Try the compassionate communication tool. Mom, I love you. And setting these boundaries helps me be a better version of myself. Love plus intent. I know it's hard to see me change, validation, but this is what I need to be happy. Need. It's not about convincing her, it's about being honest. Over time, some family members will adjust. Others won't. But your job is to prioritize your well-being, not their comfort.
You say we don't need to fix ourselves, we're already enough. But in a society that sells self-improvement everywhere, how do we stop feeling broken?
Self-improvement is good, but not when it's driven by shame. I'm broken means you're comparing yourself to an impossible standard. True self-acceptance is saying, I have flaws and I'm still worthy. We spend so much time trying to be better that we forget to be okay.
But how do we believe we're enough? When every social media feed shows people with perfect lives, it's hard not to feel less than.
Do the gratitude for imperfections exercise. Every night, write down one flaw that actually serves you. For example, My tendency to overthink helps me prepare for meetings. It reframes imperfections as strengths. Also, unfollow accounts that make you feel inferior. Your brain can't tell the difference between real and curated. Over time, this rewires your self-talk from "I'm not enough" to "I'm enough as I am."
Book, you link freedom to responsibility, saying we're free because we can choose our responses. But in America, we love freedom but hate responsibility. How do we reconcile that?
True freedom isn't doing whatever you want, it's taking responsibility for your choices. When you blame others for your life, you give away your power. Freedom means saying, "This is my life, and I'm in charge." It's scary, but that's where growth happens.
But what if you're stuck in a cycle of bad choices like credit card debt from impulsive buying? How do you take responsibility without beating yourself up?
Start with radical acceptance. Admit the debt is yours, but don't shame yourself for it. Shame stops action. Acceptance fuels it. Then use the 50/10 rule. Allocate 50% of extra income to debt responsibility and 10% to something you love reward. It balances discipline with self-compassion. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every small step builds momentum.
Book, you talk about horizontal relationships, treating others as equals, not above or below. But in America, we have hierarchies: bosses, parents, mentors. How do we be equal without being disrespectful?
Respect isn't about hierarchy, it's about seeing each person as a fellow human. A boss has authority over your job, but not over your worth. A parent has more life experience, but not more inherent value. Horizontal relationships mean speaking to others with kindness, not deference. It's not about being rude, it's about being authentic.
But how do you talk to a strict boss in a horizontal way? When they say, "Do this," and you disagree, how do you share your opinion without getting fired?
Use the respect plus collaboration approach. I understand the goal here, respect. And I've thought of a way to make it even stronger, collaboration. What if we try X because Y? Solution, it acknowledges their authority but adds your expertise. The key is to frame it as we, not you versus me. This builds trust and shows you're a team player without sacrificing your voice.
Book, you say the past doesn't determine the present, we choose how to interpret it. But what if you grew up in a toxic home? How do you choose to not let that affect you?
The past shaped your starting point, but it doesn't set your destination. You can't change what happened, but you can change what it means to you. A toxic childhood can be a story of "I'm damaged" or "I'm resilient." The choice is yours. We hold on to past pain because it's familiar, but familiarity isn't safety.
But how do you change the story? When every memory makes you feel small, what's the first step?
Try the rewrite your narrative exercise. Pick one painful memory. Write down what happened, then add a new ending. When my dad yelled at me, I thought I was unlovable. Now I see he was struggling with his own pain. My worth isn't tied to his anger. It's not about denying the hurt, it's about giving yourself a new lens. Do this for 30 days and you'll start to see patterns shift.
Book, you define happiness as contributing to others. But in a selfish world, how does giving make you happy?
Happiness is contagious. When you help others, you feel useful. Contribution isn't about grand gestures, it's about small acts. A smile, a listening ear, a helping hand. We're wired for connection. Giving satisfies that need. Selfishness isolates you. Contribution brings you into community. True happiness isn't "what's in it for me?" It's "what can I give?"
But what if you're depressed and can't even get out of bed? How do you contribute when you're barely functioning?
Start with micro contributions. Even something as small as texting a friend, "I'm thinking of you," counts. It's not about being productive, it's about connecting. When you're depressed, your brain tells you you're useless, but a micro contribution proves that's a lie. Over time, these small acts build a sense of purpose. And if you can't do that, be kind to yourself. That's the first contribution you can make.
Some independent media say your ideas are too individualistic, that focusing on your own task ignores systemic issues like racism or poverty. What do you say to that?
Systemic issues are real and they need collective action. But individual change is the foundation of collective change. You can't fix racism if you're stuck in victim mode. You need the courage to speak up. You can't fight poverty if you're drowning in your own debt. You need the skills to build stability. My ideas aren't about ignoring systems. They're about giving people the tools to participate in changing them. Personal freedom and collective action go hand in hand.
But how do you balance personal growth with fighting systemic issues? When you're busy setting boundaries, how do you also march for justice?
Use the two-column method. On one side, list personal growth actions, e.g., setting boundaries, saving money. On the other, list collective actions, e.g., volunteering, donating, marching. Allocate time to both. Even 1 hour a week for collective action counts. The key is to not let one replace the other. Personal growth gives you the strength to fight. Collective action gives your strength purpose. They're not opposites, they're partners.
Book, these ideas sound great, but how do we keep practicing them when motivation fades?
Motivation is fleeting, discipline is lasting. You don't need to feel courageous to act. You act to build courage. It's like working out. You don't feel like going to the gym, but you go anyway. Over time, it becomes a habit. The key is to start small. One boundary, one micro contribution, one rewritten narrative. Consistency beats perfection.
But what if you slip up? You set a boundary, then cave in and feel like a failure. How do you get back on track?
Use the no 0 days rule. Even if you slip up, do one small thing that aligns with your goals that day. If you cave to a boundary, text a friend and say, I messed up, but tomorrow I'll try again. It's not about being perfect, it's about not giving up. Slip-ups are part of the process. The failure is in quitting. Be kind to yourself and start again.
Wow, this isn't just about being disliked. It's about being free. What's one thing viewers can do today to start?
Pick one small boundary to set. Say no to something you don't want to do, or share a true thought you've been hiding. It's scary, but it's the first step to owning your life. Remember, the courage to be disliked is the courage to be you.
That's powerful. So today, stop chasing approval, start choosing yourself. The world needs the real you. Thanks for joining us, Book.
Thank you. And to the viewers, the freedom you want is on the other side of being disliked. Don't wait, take that first step.